Welcome back to another episode of the Emma International Deep Dive Podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Sarah. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're discussing one of the biggest shifts happening in pharmaceutical manufacturing: the rapid growth of CDMOs, or contract development and manufacturing organizations.
If you've been following the life sciences industry, you've probably noticed that more companies are choosing to outsource manufacturing instead of building or expanding their own facilities.
It's become much more than a solution for small biotech companies. Some of the largest pharmaceutical organizations in the world are relying on CDMO partners for everything from clinical manufacturing to commercial production.
Today, we'll explore why that's happening, what advantages companies gain, the risks they need to manage, and how organizations can build successful manufacturing partnerships without compromising quality or compliance.
Let's start with the obvious question: what's driving all of this growth?
There are several factors coming together. Companies are under pressure to reduce costs, speed up development, increase flexibility, and manufacture increasingly complex products.
The products themselves have changed dramatically over the last couple of decades.
They really have. We're seeing biologics, gene therapies, cell therapies, personalized medicines, and combination products. Many require specialized equipment, highly trained personnel, and facilities designed specifically for those manufacturing processes.
And building those facilities is a massive investment.
It certainly is. A new biologics manufacturing site can cost hundreds of millions of dollars before producing a single commercial batch.
Then you still have validation, hiring, quality systems, equipment qualification, maintenance, and ongoing operating expenses.
Which is why many organizations decide it's more practical to partner with a manufacturer that already has those capabilities in place.
One of the biggest advantages people talk about is speed.
Right. Every month saved during development can make a meaningful difference, both for patients waiting for new therapies and for the company's commercial success. A great example was during the COVID-19 pandemic. Companies like Pfizer and Moderna partnered with multiple CDMOs to rapidly scale manufacturing around the world. Those partnerships allowed vaccines to be produced and distributed much faster than would have been possible using only internal manufacturing capacity.
That's a great example because it really showed what manufacturing partnerships can accomplish when speed is critical.
It did. While not every product has that level of urgency, the same principle applies across the industry. If outsourcing eliminates months of construction or facility startup, that's a significant head start.
Especially for emerging biotech companies. Their strength is often scientific innovation, not operating manufacturing facilities.
Instead of building an entirely new manufacturing organization, they can stay focused on research while working with experienced manufacturing partners.
Cost is another major consideration.
Owning manufacturing facilities creates substantial fixed expenses.
Buildings, equipment, utilities, engineering teams, quality personnel, maintenance. Those costs continue whether production is running at full capacity or not.
Outsourcing gives companies more flexibility because manufacturing becomes more of an operating expense instead of a major capital investment.
That's especially helpful during clinical development, where manufacturing needs can change from one study to the next.
Building a facility for an uncertain production schedule simply doesn't make sense for many organizations.
Another benefit is access to technical expertise. Many CDMOs specialize in very specific technologies.
Some focus on sterile injectables, others on biologics, viral vectors, highly potent compounds, or medical devices.
Instead of building that expertise internally, companies can work with teams that perform those processes every day.
That experience often leads to smoother technology transfers and fewer surprises during scale-up. Does outsourcing reduce responsibility?
Here's a common misconception. Some companies assume outsourcing manufacturing also transfers regulatory responsibility.
That's one of the biggest myths in the industry. The FDA still considers the product owner responsible for product quality and compliance.
So even if another company is making your product, you're still accountable?
Exactly. That means sponsor companies need strong oversight through vendor management, quality agreements, routine audits, performance reviews, and ongoing risk assessments.
In other words, outsourcing the work doesn't mean outsourcing responsibility.
That's a perfect way to put it. Working with a CDMO doesn't remove accountability, it simply changes how that accountability is managed.
So, what should companies look for when selecting a manufacturing partner?
Price usually gets the most attention, but it shouldn't be the deciding factor. I'd start with quality history, inspection outcomes, technical capabilities, available capacity, financial stability, and project management experience.
That's a lot to evaluate. If you had to prioritize, where would you begin?
Quality history is always at the top of my list. A manufacturer with a strong compliance record and a culture of quality is going to be a much stronger long-term partner than one that's simply the lowest bidder.
Communication is another one that's easy to overlook.
It really matters. Manufacturing partnerships involve constant collaboration. If communication is difficult during the proposal stage, it usually becomes even more challenging once production begins.
Technology transfer deserves a conversation of its own. People often underestimate how much work goes into it.
It's much more than sharing batch records. You're transferring years of process knowledge, analytical methods, equipment settings, raw material information, validation strategies, and operational experience,
Even small differences between manufacturing sites can affect product performance.
which is why planning, documentation, and close collaboration between both organizations are so important.
The pandemic also changed how companies think about manufacturing strategy.
It highlighted just how vulnerable supply chains can be. Many organizations realized they couldn't rely on a single facility or one geographic region.
Now we're seeing dual sourcing, regional manufacturing strategies, and more emphasis on business continuity planning.
Companies are looking for resilience alongside efficiency.
Technology is also making these partnerships much more connected.
Many organizations now use electronic batch records, digital quality systems, cloud-based collaboration tools, and real-time production dashboards.
That gives sponsor companies much better visibility into manufacturing activities.
Although nothing replaces building strong working relationships with your manufacturing partner, regular meetings and on-site visits still play an important role.
Of course, outsourcing isn't without challenges. What issues do you see most often?
Communication gaps are probably near the top of the list.
I imagine those can snowball pretty quickly.
They certainly can. Then you have unclear responsibilities, technology transfer delays, documentation issues, capacity limitations, and change management. None of those challenges are impossible to overcome, but they require both organizations to stay aligned.
I've also seen companies underestimate how much oversight is still required after outsourcing.
That's a good point. The work doesn't disappear. Instead of running the manufacturing process directly, you're reviewing data, monitoring quality metrics, approving changes, and maintaining strong supplier oversight.
How should companies evaluate whether a CDMO relationship is working?
I like looking at both operational and quality metrics.
What are some of the most meaningful ones?
On-time delivery is a good place to start, followed by batch success rates, deviation trends, CAPA effectiveness, customer responsiveness, inspection performance, and right first-time manufacturing. Looking at those metrics together gives a much clearer picture than focusing on just one area.
And those reviews should happen consistently, not only after a problem occurs.
Regular governance meetings help identify small issues before they become much larger ones.
Where do you think the CDMO industry is headed over the next several years?
I expect continued growth, more global expansion, increased automation, greater use of AI, and more specialization as therapies become increasingly complex.
We're also seeing partnerships become much more strategic than they were in the past.
I agree. The strongest relationships are built on transparency, shared goals, and continuous collaboration, rather than simply signing a manufacturing contract.
If listeners remember one thing from today's discussion, what should it be?
Outsourcing manufacturing can provide tremendous advantages, including faster development, greater flexibility, specialized expertise, and lower capital investment. But those benefits only come with strong oversight and well-managed partnerships.
Quality and compliance remain the responsibility of the product owner, regardless of who manufactures the product.
That's the key message. When companies choose the right CDMO and invest in communication, governance, and quality systems, outsourcing becomes a powerful strategy for long-term success.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Emma International Deep Dive Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's discussion, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if your organization is navigating manufacturing strategy, regulatory compliance, or supplier quality, the team at Emma International is here to help.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.